Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth. I'm here at Comic-Con, and I am very excited to talk to the cast of Powers. This is a really exciting series. It's very unique in the superhero genre. It's unique that it's going to be on PlayStation. Thank you for doing that. They listen to Eddie Izzard. I've tried that all day long, and nobody listens to me. Eddie Izzard just goes like this.
Over there? They're having a party. It's crazy. We've just killed them with our powers. Which is we actually set up this example of what noise and having powers do to get rid of noise. This is what mainly it's about noise control.
Power right
that's
there.
what our series is about.
That's a power I actually would love to have. So let's dig into this. This is like we've heard this is a hard. You just had your panel, which I heard went great. It's a hard R, dark, gritty show. Were you guys familiar with the comic? Does it seem to match the tone of the comic to you?
Go for it.
All of them.
I wasn't, to my shame, familiar with the comic, but obviously, read it once I found out about the project. I love comics, generally, but yes, because the original creators of the show are also the exec producers and on the writing team of the show, it very much has the feel and essence of the comics. It deviates slightly from the sequence of the comics, but it works with the existing storylines from the comics and, tries to be true to the original material.
So David Slade directed the first 2 episodes, I believe. If you guys don't know David Slade, you should. Worked on Hannibal, a lot of things that we love. What sort of tone did he set up? What did he establish in terms of the aesthetic? I haven't seen anything, but I heard they showed some footage today.
They did. I didn't see as much as I would have liked to. We didn't have playback while we were on set, but for me it seemed what I saw, shadowy, very noir, with moments of brightness and intensity. What would you guys say?
Yeah, I did one big scene, didn't I?
That's true.
This is my thing. So it's hard for me. But David Slade, it's the control that he likes to bring into things. His vision, going with Charlie Houston's vision on the story, attention to detail and good quality. But I had one big scene with him, which was only about 3 minutes long. But that was great to do, and I was very happy working with him on that. I was come from Hannibal, but I haven't actually worked with him on Hannibal. Oh. But he's done a lot of the opening episodes of Hannibal, and I've only done four episodes of Hannibal. But
he's got a great aesthetic feel. Like if you look at Hannibal, the sort of color palette on that, he's someone who's very visual centric, and it's very very dark tones to the look. I think.
Restrained. That's the word that I keep coming back to. It's not busy or
doesn't detract from the drama. It's not like looks over the drama sort of thing. But it enhances the script.
Let's talk about your characters a little bit. Now, you're a cop who has no powers but investigates sort of powers-related crimes. And what I understand is that the POV of the show is very much from the human perspective, surrounded by people who have superpowers. So what's that like for her? You're sort of the eyes of the audience in that way.
It's exactly like that. I kind of liken it to being like as if we'd seen one of the scenes in movies that we've already seen. After the big, huge action scene, I'm the person who comes after all those cameras are gone and tries to clean up after the big battle that did save Earth. So Earth has been saved and a superhero died, and so I have to come up and clean up and figure out how things happened. So the way the script is structured, Dina comes in and joins the Powers division as a complete newbie. She's never really seen how things work. So I think you nailed it, actually. I'm the eyes of the audience.
Wolf, Big Bad Wolf, he seems like it's a little bit different from the graphic novel. He's sort of a nemesis / mentor to Walker, yes? No?
yes, I would agree with that. I kind of like your descriptions of things. Nemesis / mentor. Well, that's it. He has darkness. I'm less of that. He's Big Bad Wolf, which does sort of block him into a corner because if he does anything that has a mentor qualities to him. Well, he's Big Bad Wolf. That's good. So, and I did find that the crew started calling me the Wolf, or the character the Wolf. They just said the Wolf's got to do this now. The Wolf's. So I'm happy with that. And he is a feral human, and he has multiple powers, and he is very ancient, but he is beguiling. He will be charming, but he starts off in a very dark place, and he has been in prison for a long time, and he's done many bad things. So there's this history that comes out, and you see this through the first episode in just a snippet, because it's only a short scene. It's 3-minute scene, really, 4-minute scene.
3 very full minutes.
Yeah, so that's when I arrive, and then I gradually come into the rest of the episodes leading up towards the end. So it'll be an interesting trajectory from darkness to darkness through light, and yeah, we are still not. We've only on the 3rd episode, so we still have yet to find where I actually land, because writers can write in real time.
Yeah.
I know this from the Riches when I was on it, that if they like a certain thing, then they'll say, well, let's head it off in this direction. If you pitch a certain idea, they might go, yeah, we'll go with that. And so you can actually change it in real time, which is an unusual thing. It's not like a film, it's not like a play, it's not like anything. It just moves. Even from now, we could change things that, like in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, things could be different.
And does it have kind of initially kind of like that Hannibal Lecter from The Silence of the Lambs when he's jailed, that kind of feel where he's manipulating from behind?
I needed it to be different from Hannibal Lecter. They do have powers and it does come from ingestion of bodies and people, and mine is more animalistic, and it should be different. It shouldn't bounce. You shouldn't go, oh, this is just Hannibal. It should be a different thing. I try to approach it from a different angle.
So let's talk about your character can pop in and out of anywhere, right? This is my understanding.
Yeah, he can teleport, but basically he's a criminal. He's an underworld figure who happens to have superpowers, which are a pretty good one if you're a criminal too, to be able to blip in and out of any place in the world. But he's a complex, damaged individual, and a classic comic book villain / anti-hero in a way. You know, like he's a bad guy, but he has his reasons for being like that. You know.
I mean, it seems like that ability can let you get away with really any crime at all. So do they get pretty creative with how they use that?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the powers, you know, that's the sort of question that the show poses, like, what would you do if you had these powers? And then also, conversely, for the police department, how do you cope with trying to control people like that? You know, it's like a real challenge, and then the police obviously have to work with certain other powers because they're just situations that would be out of their control if they didn't have that help. So there's almost switching political alliances between, and you know that you before said, you know, you're the human and they're the superpowers. The superpowers are humans. That's the thing about the show. You know, it's just like if we were in this room and you know, 3% of the population had powers. You know, it would be a different world the way we had to deal with things.
If we're talking and the guy over in the corner is levitating,
Yeah.
or has shot a lightning bolt out to blow a hole in the window to get some air in.
Might be slightly distracting.
I also wanted to talk about, you know, for fans of the comic, there is, I will say, technology that we're working on to gain authority over people with powers.
I think there's some people that we won't say anything, but I think there's some people that will know maybe what you're talking about with that. So this is going up on PlayStation, which is really interesting. Does that platform make it almost endlessly possible what you can do? There's no limits to really what you can do in terms of like restrictions of any kind. Although I will say there's not many restrictions on Game of Thrones, certainly, or Hannibal. It gets away with everything.
It's a different platform in that it's on PlayStation, but that's like, you know, whatever it is, 110 million just in the United States alone. You know, so even if it's only half the people who own PlayStations watch it, that's still 60 million or whatever, 70, you know. But it's just approached as any other cable show, no limitations as to what can be written and done. I mean, that's the beauty of the non-network shows, you know, whether it's this or HBO or whatever, you know, that's the beauty.
I need
of
to
it.
jump in there just because I went through an FX thing. FX can do less than Showtime and HBO. So HBO did set the benchmark, and then Netflix and I suppose Amazon Prime and now PlayStation coming in, we can actually do more. There's very little swearing in the thing. when we did The Richest, we couldn't swear. So it's interesting. I think, unless something has changed, a lot of the cable channels can't do a certain amount of things. But the style of writing, the depth of writing, the complexity of the writing, that is what's become king. So it probably came from HBO. It came through all the others, and you've got your FX, your AMCs, and your A&Es, and whoever it is that's developing these things. And we've now got into a place where nothing is written, and we can find out where we're going.
And also, if you mean about watching people demonstrate superpowers, like are we flying with people or like things like that, one of the main things about our point of view is that we stay on the ground. We watch the people above fly, and we figure out the humanity of dealing with someone with that kind of power.
Yeah, no, it just feels to me that they'd be able to tackle this from a very adult point of view, which is what we've heard.
Yes.
Sony's been great in that they've been incredibly gone, right, go ahead and make
Permissive.
it, and hands off, and that's always where traditionally, projects get killed by too many people sort of offering input. They've gone, okay, we've got a great team of writers, we've got a great cast, great directors, just go for it, and that's the kind of model that allows people to fulfill the vision that they have rather than a watered down one that's, by committee or whatever. So, it's been
We also
great.
get free Sony underpants, which is...
And that is
they're
the capper.
They're just moving into this area. Sony underpants.
Well, you've heard it here. Sony Underpants on the way. Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Really looking forward to Powers. So for all things Powers and New York Comic Con, keep it locked right here to IGN.